Pro Football Hall of Famer Kurt Warner, good to see you, sir.
Always good to see you, my man.
How are you?
I'm doing good. No rain outside.
Not yet.
The excitement's buzzing. Let's get this thing going.
I know, and you and I were on the set. I was talking about this with David Shaw before we were on that set on Tootsie's on Broadway yesterday, and we just turned around and we're like, wow, look at this scene.
Oh, I know.
Just hearing the cymbals smashing from 15 different places with live music and
it's perfect.
and just the neon everywhere and just the sight. It really is great.
I mean, it speaks to where our games become. I mean, I remember being in the Super Bowl however many years ago and where the Super Bowl's at now, but now you see the draft and the number of people that come out and the number of teams that are represented at the draft no matter where it's at. It's pretty awesome, and it's great for these young men that are trying to take that next step to fulfilling their dreams.
Has anybody gone there with you, the 1 yard? Talking about the team that you beat in that Super Bowl, has that been brought up to you?
There's been
a
number of people that said they're not big fans of me because of what we did some 20 years ago, but it's something I never apologize for. So I'll take the picture with you, but I'm not sorry.
Is that really what they'll say as you're getting ready for a selfie or a photo?
They will. Yeah, they will. It's like, not a big fan. You broke our heart 20-some years ago, Super Bowl 34, and I'm like, I'm not sorry. Smile.
Yeah, I know. You got that ring. I'll start with the obvious question, since I'm sure you're getting it every single time, and it's every single hit that we've done, as they say in the television business last 2 days. It's Kyler Murray at the top of the draft. What do you think? And obviously, you make your home year-round in Arizona.
Yeah.
What do you think is happening right now with that franchise and this decision as we're talking?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because, being there and being around it, they've got so many issues. And, I think that's what's shocking as much as anything. When you have so many issues and you're trying to build a team and you haven't been very successful over the past few years, it's just crazy to think that you might go top 10 quarterback. But we know, and we talk about it every year, if you believe that guy is a difference maker, is a franchise quarterback, is a special player, and you're in a position to get him, you can't pass on him either. But, I've said this the whole time. I really believe in, when they said the Cardinals aren't sure what they were going to do just a couple days ago, I believe that could be true. I believe a lot of this could hinge off of what they can get from Josh Rosen, because they have to replenish the cupboards a little bit in Arizona. And if you settle for a 3 from a guy that you moved up and gave up picks to get in the top 10, where are you, even though you might have a dynamic young quarterback, where are you as a team, this coming year? Are you in a better place than you were a year ago, or, you haven't solidified some different positions because there's some great players that they're going to be missing out on?
Well, I mean, and the idea that they would have been playing this long game to try and get the best possible return for their first overall pick for Murray,
right,
at the detriment of what's going on with Rosen, is kind of the head scratcher if they don't take Murray. And, that plays into the conversation that over the years that we've done Game Day Morning together on Sunday mornings on the NFL Network, which is just a joy for me personally and professionally to have you and all the guys. We hear it from Irv, and you hear it from back in the day, Sapp, Marshall, all the time, would say, how come quarterbacks can't handle the competition in the same way that my position, they would always bring somebody else in at my position? Is it really a different situation with a quarterback to have the lack of confidence potentially for you and the coach together? Well, is it damaging long-term for real?
The hard part, and, I know people always say that about the quarterback. The hard part about the quarterback position is only one guy plays. And so you're not afraid of competition. You just know if a team decides to go the other direction, you're not playing. As a wide receiver, you can have the competition and you can be subbed in and out, or as a running back, you're going to get more opportunities to get back in and prove that you belong in that position. As a quarterback, you don't get that. So it's not that you are afraid of the competition. It's just the fact that if they decide to go a different direction, that means you're done. You're out. And so that's why it's such a fragile thing, is that you have two quarterbacks. You're always wondering, okay, if I play bad, am I out?
Right.
And if I'm out, it's not just I'm not coming out for 2 plays. I'm not coming out for 2 series. I'm coming out for the game and possibly for the long term, and that's where it gets hard. when you're talking about the competition at that position, especially if you've got guys that are drafted high, because, everybody stakes their claim on who they draft. And so even if that guy's not the better guy, they want to prove that they were right by drafting him, and that's where it just gets to be a sticky situation for the quarterback that's so different than all the other positions.
Kurt Warner here on the Rich Eisen Show. And so you have all this tape on Kyler Murray, and the other day when we were doing a segment for Total Access from the draft set, and you showed your tape, or it might even been on the air, or what we're planning to do later. It's Murray making throws from all different positions and protecting himself, knowing how to fall to the ground and knowing how to fall away from the hit and make an accurate throw. And it brings to mind, we had Doug Flutie on the show a couple weeks ago and asked him, what he thinks of somebody who's 5'10" being tall enough now for a guy who had it the other way around.
Right.
So, but he said it doesn't matter for Murray because he's been 5'10" all along and he's fashioned his game for that. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think there's a part of it that, if you do something your entire life and you do it as well as a guy like him or Doug Flutie, you figure out how to do it.
Yeah, like my golf game, when I'm under a tree, I'm really good at getting it out because
you've been there a lot, right?
Correct.
You're used to that.
And more than in the middle center cut in the fairway,
right?
For instance.
But with that being said, that doesn't mean there's not still issues. And the reason I say this, and I study a lot of film on NFL quarterbacks, and I studied a lot on Drew Brees last year. And I remember watching him, and I would watch him get up on his toes and kind of like lean up like he's looking over a wall. And in the course of a play, and I would ask him about, I'm like, how often do you do this? Is this something? And he goes, yeah, there are numerous times where I can't see what I'm trying to see. And so I have to try to peer up and peek over and try to get that, that vantage point to be able to make the throws. And so, okay, here's a guy that's 2 inches shorter than that. I played. There was obviously times when I was blocked from the viewpoint down the field. So it is a thing, and that's the concerning part. I don't know how much of a thing because I didn't play at that level at 5'10". So I don't know how big of a thing it is for guys, but I know it is a thing. And that becomes the only worrisome part of it is it a big thing? I mean, does it happen a lot when you're 5'10"? And how does that fashion? Because I'm still a believer outside of the rare beasts that you have to win games in the pocket, that you have to be able to stand in there and see things and make throws to win championships outside of rare occasions. And, we talked about it. I think whoever goes and gets him, if it is Arizona or whomever, they're banking on him being the next Russell Wilson. That Russell's not a great pocket passer. Is that because of the height? Is that because of the vision? I don't know. He's a good passer, and he's a great down-the-field passer, but he's a great playmaker. At critical moments, he makes special plays. And I believe if you're drafting Kyler Murray, you have to believe he can be the next Russell Wilson. Even if he doesn't become a great pocket passer, and even if he has issues with his height, we think the other things will overcome that and allow him to be great like RW is.
Well, I'll say here to you, Kurt, what I said to you either yesterday or the day before. Again, it's all bleeds together. Is I'm excited that you're on the draft set for the full first round and not on some other spot where we only go to you when a quarterback gets picked or passed over. So I'll put you in that role right here. Who's your favorite player in the draft? Who's the guy that you're like, wow, I love that tape. I love this guy. He's going to be awesome.
I tell you, I tweeted it yesterday, but there's two guys, and one you're going to like. But it's the Devin White and Devin Bush. The two linebackers, I believe, could be the two best players in this draft. And I'm excited to see where they end up going because I think they are difference makers. They can fly around the field. They can play in every situation because that's one of the things I look at with some of the other guys that are going to be at the top is there's some really good players, but I wonder if they can play in every situation. I was talking to Coach Stoops from Kentucky today about Josh Allen. Great football player, but I think he's there you go.
Right there,
but I think he's great in a 3-4 defense, which he played in college, kind of like a TJ Watt, where he can rush and he can drop it. But now what if he gets into a 4-3 defense and he's got to play like a Sam linebacker where he's off the ball and then they have to bring him in at sub to be able to rush the passer? I'm not sure he's as dynamic in that kind of a system. And so you look at certain guys and you look at fits. I believe Devin White and Devin Bush can play in any system, and they can play every down. So those are probably the two guys just watching tape, because I had to watch a lot of tape for this whole thing.
Sure, I'm sure.
not used to watching on different positions, but those were two guys that every time I turned it on, I loved watching them because they do everything well.
And you played with Devin Bush's dad, right?
I did, yeah. We won a Super Bowl together.
Well, just I guess to bring that up again here, I'm sorry to the Titans fans here.
Yeah.
But,
no, we're not sorry.
To go on This Is Your Life as well, what was the name of your college roommate in Northern Iowa? Steve, what was his name?
College roommate?
Yeah. What's your dad's name? That's his. He says that he's your dad's.
Oh yeah.
He's the son of your roommate.
Well, I had a couple throughout college.
In Northern Iowa.
My main guy was Mike Hudnut.
Okay, that's not Hudnut's kid.
No.
Dave
Friesman?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There
he was a roommate of mine when I was actually playing arena football.
See, it was arena football right there.
Well, no,
your dad's been lying to you. Basically what we're
I
saying.
knew him in college as well, but yeah, when I was playing arena football, he's a roommate of mine.
I hate to break it to you. You're not really your father's son, sir. I mean,
wow. Here's the crazy thing is, I look at
was that
go,
strong? Was that a bad? I'm sorry.
That was pretty strong.
And I go, look, my roommate, look how old his kids are. My son, Zach, turns 30
today. Yeah, I was going to say that. Today. I've got it written down here to make sure I said that.
Unbelievable. So it's incredible where life goes.
Yeah, I saw Brenda's tweet about it today.
Right. And incredible.
I gave that a heart. It's pretty cool. Your son's 30, man.
He's awesome too. I mean, taught me so much about life. For those that don't know, suffered a traumatic brain injury when he was 4 months old, and been struggling with so many things throughout his life. And said he would be lucky to sit up if he did live after the injury, and here he is at 30 years old.
30 years old.
Pretty
and now we might as well segue into this. What's the name of the charity again that
it's called Treasure House.
Treasure House.
So yeah, it's a community living facility for young adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We opened our first one in Arizona, and
Zach is the inspiration
for
it.
Yeah, he is the inspiration, but it's rocking and it's going well, and so
that's excellent.
TreasureHouse.org if anybody's interested, but it's pretty awesome.
That's fantastic about that. I've never asked you this, so if you don't mind, I'm going to spend the last couple of minutes with this. What was your draft day like? Were you expecting to get drafted when your draft day was happening, or what?
Expected is a strong word.
Okay.
Hoping, I think, more than anything. Playing 1 year in college, you don't necessarily expect to get your name called, but that's everybody's dream. So I actually watched every single pick.
Where were you watching?
From one, because even in the first round, you go, maybe some, Right. But I was actually at my house back in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I was by myself, just sitting on the couch,
watching
and I
ESPN.
Watched every single pick that went down, just hoping at some point somebody called my name.
No kidding. And how'd you handle that? I mean,
again, I think expectation is everything. So as much as I was hoping, I didn't necessarily expect it. And, the crazy thing about all of this is that I could have got drafted in the 7th round or the 6th round, which, would have been nice. But, there is kind of a blessing in if you become a free agent. I had 6 or 7 different teams that offered me a free agent contract.
Right.
So at that point, you get a chance to go, okay, what's the best situation? What looks like the best fit or the best opportunity for me to succeed? And you can kind of choose between them. So, kind of a silver lining to the whole thing is you're not forced to go to one team as a 7th round pick. Now you can be a free agent and kind of pick your spot.
Well, and you picked a spot, and then you obviously went.
Yeah, I didn't pick a good spot.
No, with Mooch and Favre and all those guys.
Right.
But it allows you to just rib the heck out of him. But speaking of which, by the way, I made it very apparent to Mooch yesterday that he screwed up the pick for Brady years ago, and I thought of you in a way.
He screwed up a lot of things over the years.
He did.
Comes to
you want to read that tweet out that you just showed me there, Chris Brockman? Go for it.
I do. About 12 minutes ago from Ian Rappaport. If the Cardinals have made a decision on number 1, they're keeping it quiet. Source said GM Steve Keim reached out to at least one player, him as Quinnen Williams, to let him know he's a possibility to go first overall.
Wow.
What is that? What would that mean to get a call from a general manager say, hey, we got the number 1 overall pick.
Do you really,
look out, we may take you.
Do you really try to figure out what this stuff means? Even to this day, after all these years that you've covered it, we try to read into everything.
Right.
And who knows how many layers are there on what they're trying to.
But would you
because you hear people saying, oh, now we want to, draft up, or we want to move up to get Quinnen Williams because we think that quarterback may go here and Bosa may go there. So who knows? Are they doing it because maybe somebody now comes up to the number one.
Right.
I mean, who knows?
See, I'm just trying to put it into perspective of, like, for me, like, if I was up, Jeopardy or Price is Right.
Okay.
Would I want to hear from the producers saying, hey, we're going to make a decision tonight. It's going to be televised. And we're thinking of you. So just be around later at 8 Eastern.
Would.
Like, no, I mean, come on. I don't want to know.
This is the number one pick in the NFL draft.
Right.
And all you've heard for a month is it's not you. And then all of a sudden that team calls and says, it might be you.
Yeah, but that's not helpple. That's not helpful.
It's exciting. I mean, now you're telling your family. It's like, come on, everybody.
I know. And then
you're calling people that you didn't invite to the party, going, "Hey, come to the party. I might be number one."
Or come and watch me just be totally depressed because it doesn't.
Granted,
happen.
it'll suck for about 15, 20 minutes if they don't call your name. But it lifts you a little bit going, I could still be number one.
Yeah, I remember when Marshall was going into the Hall of Fame. Remember that? And somebody, his agent and his friends, like, put a party together the night that he was going to be announced. Because he's a surefire first ballot guy.
Exactly.
But you never know until you know. And Marshall was just like, didn't want to talk about his party, didn't want to have anything to do until it would actually happen. Yep. That's what tonight feels like to me. I don't want to know. I don't call me and say we may take you. Of course,
but here's the good thing. Yeah. It's only going to be disappointing for 15 or 20 minutes, right?
and then it'll go.
It's not like there's only one pick. He will go high, and he will be excited, and he can have his party because it's not like the Hall of Fame where it's you either get in or you don't get in.
Right.
He's getting his name called very high in this draft. It's just a matter of, is it number one?
All right, Kurt13 Warner on Twitter as well as Instagram. Join our coverage tonight. Me, Kurt, Daniel Jeremiah, and also Coach David Shaw, Charles Davis, Steve Smith, cast of thousands, essentially tonight at 8 Eastern time on NFL Network. Happy birthday again to Zach.
Oh, thanks. I'll let him know.
It's a great day.
Thanks for letting me talk about other guys besides quarterbacks.
You know what?
I do all this. I watch 50 different guys on tape and prepare all this stuff. And I know it's going to be DJ and Coach Shaw, and it'll be like, oh, there's a quarterback, Kurt, here. You talk now.
Yeah, I know.
I know all that work.
It'll be funny. Tonight, the first time you talk about something other than a quarterback, I'll just cut you off and go, who cares? Who cares what you think?
What do you know about anything besides quarterback?
What do you know? Good to see you. Kurt
good.
Warner, everybody. Give him a round of applause if you don't mind.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.